Hello friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Estelle and I make videos to help people find inspiration through creativity and sustainable making. The past 4 years I've been living in a low income, prioritizing having more time and energy for creativity instead of working more, and I still manage to feel fulfilled and earn some savings. So today we are going through 7 habits that spark my creativity, keep me from overspending and hopefully help me treat a little lighter on the planet. One of the biggest expense cuts I made is that I don't buy new clothes anymore. I used to buy something almost every week after work, not for necessity, but because I had stores close by, and it was my way of relieving stress and getting some gratification after a hard day at work. Now that I don't have that impulse, when I need something, I thrift, I mend, and I upcycle. This habit is one of the biggest pillars of this channel. For me, fixing a tear or changing a button actually makes me value my clothes even more, and they last much longer. And it feels so good to know I'm not contributing fast fashion and textile waste. These are some of the clothing items I made since I started sewing and crocheting 2 years ago. Another big cut in my expenses is food. I cook at home instead of eating out. I'm lucky I love cooking and experimenting in the kitchen, so I don't feel the need to chase restaurant meals. Of course, I still go out once in a while, but maybe once or twice a month. Homemade meals are my everyday. They are cheaper, they feel healthier and more grounding, and I love the challenge of using up what I already have in the pantry. It pushes me to be creative and reduces waste. And since I don't eat meat, my grocery bill ends up being even lower. Now let's talk about transportation. If you live in a place with reliable public transit, this is a huge area where you can save money. I use buses, trains, and any other option available whenever I can. Because of that, we only need one car, which keeps our monthly gas expenses close to zero. And even though our car is nearly 20 years old, we have no plans to replace it as long as it still runs well. There's no need to buy a new one just for appearances. And for short distances, I just bike. It saves money, it's healthier, and it feels good not to rely on the car all the time. My current bike was gifted by Evercross. It's electric and foldable. The battery is easy to remove and charge at home or in the office, and a single charge supports up to 45 kilometers of riding. Since we live in a small apartment, it's game-changing that it folds down and doesn't take up space. And because it's electric, I don't get sweaty when I go to work or meet friends. It's a really practical solution if you also want to use the car less, but still move around easily. This is the only way we can have a bike at home. A regular bike wouldn't fit in the elevator and we should pay for a storage room somewhere in the neighborhood. Evercross kindly sent me a discount code for you, so I will leave the link of my bike in the description in case you want to check it out. I feel I should be giving more context about my low income. So to be transparent, for the past years I've been earning around 800 euros a month. This might be considered low or high depending on where you live, but where I live it's usually not enough to match living cost. A few years ago I decided to leave my full-time corporate job where I worked 9-10 hours a day plus weekends for a part-time job with less responsibility. Basically, I exchanged a huge part of my income for more free time and mental health. At first, I thought I would slowly burn through my savings, but something surprising happened. I just didn't. Sure, I can't save as much as before, but I also don't spend as much as I used to. Once I left behind the stress and anxiety of living for work, I realized I didn't need to buy things for instant gratification anymore. My habits changed quickly and my expenses dropped. Of course, this is just my personal experience, not financial advice, and I can manage this lifestyle partly because my rent is low at the moment and because I don't have kids. But these habits I'm sharing in the video really make this possible, and I wanted to share them with you. Another area where I'm frugal is energy. Of course, I turn off the lights and use the usual tricks, but what really makes the big difference to my bill is how I deal with the cold. I'm the kind of person who gets cold easily, so instead of running the heating all the time, I use cozy layers, blankets, and a game changer for me, long heating pads. They warm up my body without needing to heat the whole apartment for hours. Once I take the chill off, even the room feels warmer. They are basically a dry version of the classic hot water bottle, which also works great if you don't want to use a microwave. I love using them to pre-warm the bed at night instead of leaving the heating all night. These long heating pads are not expensive, but you can easily make one yourself. You just need a small piece of fabric, thread, and rice or some kind of seed that can be heated. You can sew this by hand, but it's so quick to make with a sewing machine. You just need to make a rectangle with seams on all the sides except the top one. Then fill the back with rice and close the top. If you want, you can add sections so the rice stays evenly distributed. Now let's talk about hobbies. One of the biggest complaints about learning how to crochet is that yarn can be expensive, but not so much if bought with moderation. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but hear me out. Taking in mind that one skein of yarn will last hours of entertaining, it looks way more affordable, because it's time you're not spending clubbing or dumb walking through shops or whatever spending activity you might do. And this applies to sewing and all kinds of DIYs. My hobbies don't cost me a lot of money, and they are also kind of productive at the same time. Whenever I need something, I first ask myself, can I make it with what I already have? It's like a creative challenge that saves me money. If you're skeptical, you can check out my playlist of home makeovers I've made with really low budgets. I will leave the link here on the screen and down below. I don't think hobbies need to be productive, but I do like choosing activities that bring me some kind of benefit. Since I'm a practical person, I tend to gravitate towards arts and crafts that result in something useful or meaningful for my life. Another habit that's easy to change is that I cut memberships and use free resources as much as I can. For example, we only have one paid streaming platform. If we can't find anything to watch there, it's okay with us. We sift and watch a YouTube video instead. Or we just grab a book. That's another one. Instead of buying books, I often go to the library or find the ebook version, which is usually way cheaper. The same goes for entertainment. There are always free cultural events or local activities that don't cost a thing but are just as fun. And finally, if I had to generalize, the thing that has helped me the most is having a no-buy mindset. I avoid places and apps that are designed to make us want things we don't need. I don't scroll TikTok, Temu, or Shein, and I stay away from shopping malls. And whenever I feel like I need something, I let the idea sit for a few days. Most of the time, I realized it was just an impulse or influence, not a real necessity. One tip for those of us who live close to shops, it's to focus on the beauty around us instead of window shopping. Like watching the leaves change on the trees or even imagining the stories of the people we pass by. The same goes for gifting. Instead of buying mass-produced presents, I love making small intentional ones. Handmade gifts cost less, but they carry so much more meaning because they show time, thought, and care. If you're looking for inspiration, I've put together a playlist full of sewing and crochet gift ideas that you can check out after this video. So these are the habits that allow me to live happily on a low income. For me, it's not about deprivation, it's about finding joy in simplicity and creativity. I wouldn't trade the freedom I've gained for anything, and I hope I can sustain this lifestyle for as long as I can. Let me know in the comments what frugal or sustainable habits you've found meaningful in your life, so we can help each other out. Thank you so much for watching. Adeu!